We're talking consumer and technology, and today we'll be looking at the Huawei Y9s. I have been joined by Philip Ashon, who's host of Citi Trends and head of production here at Citi TV. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, actually. I'm doing very, very well. That was an incredible administration
really
there.
Talented.
I can't wait to hear more about it later on in the show.
I can't master a language for nothing, let alone write a song in that language.
I don't know. A part of me feels like she should have just sang for like the next 30 minutes.
Oh, we want to listen about Huawei.
We want to find out about this little device,
Yes.
this little nifty device here. So it was launched this year, very late this year, just a couple of weeks ago, and Huawei happened to pass on one of the models to us. This color here is called the breathing glass. Breathing crystal.
Okay.
Breathing crystal. That's the color. Okay. So there's a black one which also has a fancy little name. We'll be finding out in just a bit. Okay. But the version that I have, the color is called breathing crystal. Fancy stuff. Yeah. As most people would realize, it's very, very similar to the Y9 2019, which we also reviewed on the show a couple of months ago. This also has a pop-up camera at the top. Nice. It has a 4,000 milliampere battery, which typically should last you all day. Even though, depending on your usage, you might probably max it out. So, for example, when I put it on the hotspot for the entire day, and I do a couple of things like social media and stuff like that, by 6 p.m. I am mostly running out of juice. But I mean, most people typically don't put on their hotspots like literally all day. Yeah. So it works just like it says on the paper. But we will be taking a look at a few of the things that really make this phone stand out. So we're going to have all of those stats on the screen there as we walk through the device. It's a pretty neat device, and you can have a look.
It's lightweight as well.
So that's it. That is the Y9s. It is a phone that is fashioned out for young people. Yeah. Very hip, very stylish. Especially even in the choice of colors and just the way it's designed. That whole pop-up camera thing sort of gives it a different vibe. And the basic statistics that you need to understand is that one of the big things is it has a 48 megapixel triple camera.
48 megapixel camera.
Yes.
What does that mean?
That basically means that you just have quite a number of pixels to work with.
So you can take lots of pictures.
Most phones. So for example, the iPhone 10s, for example, which is my other device, is hovering around 16 megapixels.
Wow, so this is more.
This is more, but the tricky thing is, and I'll be getting into that when we get into the camera specs. A lot of people end up like pumping a lot of megapixels into and talking about, we have 120 megapixels and whatever. But it is not necessarily about the number of pixels, but the quality of the picture is also very important. And also the screen type is also very, very important. The number of nits and everything. But we'll get into that in a bit. But I mean, one of the things I also like personally is the fact that it's a 6 gig. In terms of the speed, the RAM is 6 gig, and the storage space by default is 128 gig. So you have 128 gig, 6 gig of RAM. Some people's laptops don't even have 6 gig of RAM running on it, and it has a 48 megapixel camera. It has a fingerprint reader on the side, which has been combined, interestingly, with a power button. And I found that really, really cool. So it's right there on the side, as you can see there. The fingerprints there.
Right.
So it's mounted on the side. Last year with the Y9 2019, it was mounted on the back.
Yeah.
But this time it's mounted on the side. It's incorporated with the power button, and I think that was pretty interesting. So let's just get through some of the really interesting stuff that strike out at you. Of course, I mean, it's a full screen. As you can see there, full display, watching videos and stuff on it. Very, very detailed, very interesting look there. It looks really, really nice. And one of the things I like about this device is that it doesn't really cost that much. Guess how much it is?
3,000 cities?
No, it's actually 1,499.
Wow.
So literally 1,500 CDs for you to grab this device.
I can get a new phone next month.
I find that really cool because of the sort of markets that this phone is supposed to, go to. It's addressing a young population who have a bit of disposable income. So
or they can convince their parents
to purchase it. But it packs a punch. So let's go through. So that's the display. As you can see there, it's really colorful. It looks really good. So those are the two colors that we are playing around with.
Wow.
That is the device. That's a breathing crystal. That's a midnight black and a breathing crystal, which is what we have here in the studio. So those are the two colors basically that we are working with. Now that is a side-mounted fingerprint for those of you who are interested in that.
So you just put your thumb on the side,
as opposed to the screen. And it unlocks really quick.
Wow.
It unlocks really quickly. So you can add on as many fingerprints as possible. Some people just do one, people do 5. People add their family members. It's fine. just add it on and then you're good to go.
Wow.
It's really secure. I personally prefer the fingerprint reader to, for example, the facial recognition or the iris.
If you're sleeping, someone can just
and because it's like full screen and everything without the sensors and everything included into it, especially for the front-facing camera and all the others on the front, what you typically have is if you are supposed to use face unlock, the security is not that great. And that happens with a lot of the new devices that don't have the sensors embedded into the front part of the device. So people can do a printout of your face and then basically unlock your phone with it. But then some of the devices which have invested in getting all the sensors into it, where you have a 3D sort of look of the person's face, whether they're wearing glasses, whether it's daylight, sunlight, they have a beard, whatever, the phone is able to detect whether it's actually you or not. So I prefer actually having a side-mounted fingerprint. I think also that all the other security features that it has is actually pretty good. I mean, you have your typical pattern drawing, you have your password that you can enter. I just personally, for some of these devices, do not like the facial recognition option because it can be tricked very easily. But then the fingerprint sensor, I believe, is such a great feature. Let's move on to that pack, that camera there. 3 cameras, 48 megapixel camera on the back. So there's one that's 48. There's one that is 2 and there's one that's 8. The 2 is the depth sensing camera, which determines the depth of the subject to the camera. So it can, when it wants to blur out the background as we typically have, it can do that. We have an 8 megapixel camera which gives you the wide angle, so you can see the proper angles and everything on the camera. So those are the 3 lenses on the back. You have the 8 ultra wide angle, and then you have the 2 megapixel depth sensing camera, and then of course you have the 48 megapixel lens as well, all mounted in the back. And that little cute thing at the bottom there, that little circle there, is just supposed to give you light, the flash, just to give you that extra thing. So moving on, my trials with the camera, especially when the AI camera kicks in, my little problem was that it gives it a little too much light than you typically expect.
So you look lighter than yourself.
Yeah, you look a little too bright. I mean, it's already like a bright space. You have a lot of sunlight. You typically expect that there's a lot of balancing going on. But then once you put on the camera, you typically find that the picture that you take is a little brighter than you would expect. For me personally, as a photographer, I just found that a little worrying. Some people might like it because
change the setting.
You can work around the setting. You can shoot it manually if you want. There are quite a number of shooting modes that are available. You can do hyperlapse, you can do super slow-mo and things like that. But I just felt that it just gives it a little too much light, which was one of the problems I had with the Y9 2019. But I think that with the 48 megapixel camera, you get a little more quality, but then I just feel that the light or the exposure in the shot is just a little too much. But it still takes some pretty awesome pictures. One of the things I also found out when I was reviewing the device was the fact that when you take a picture, it does this really interesting thing where it tells you to hold the camera steady while it stabilizes the picture. And I found that pretty interesting because when you eventually see the picture, you can tell how clearer the picture is. But just holding it for just a few more seconds. And it just pops up on the screen, and I found that pretty interesting. So this is a night mode that has been introduced, of course, into this device. Look, when you switch it on, that is the difference that you get. It is taking a note out of the P30 Pro, where it takes multiple shots in different exposures and combines them to give you some pretty stunning pictures. So that is it when the night mode is off, and then when you actually take the picture. This is what you get when you turn the night mode on. So I mean, just to give you a sense of what you're going to be playing around with when you spend 1,500 cedis on this device. So moving on to some other interesting stats. That is it, the 120 degree angle wide lens. As I said, it's an 8 megapixel wide angle lens that is fitted into this device. This is basically what you have. Now, you realize that before we got to this picture, there was a smaller version of that picture. That is what you typically get if you're using your normal device. But then when you use a wide angle, these are the sort of shots that you're going to get. Now, so imagine if you're taking a shot of your friends at a party, you are an event organizer, you're taking a picture of, the decor that you've put together, and you really want to get everything into it. This is the sort of photo you're going to get. Obviously, these buildings you can't find anywhere in Accra, but hey, it's fine.
We'll make do with what we have.
We'll make do with what we have indeed. But moving on to this little feature that came up with the Y9 2019, the pop-up camera. People were really crazy about it.
Yeah,
and
we
justified.
We did the test that
exactly.
It won't fall off.
So when you drop it, what happens is when you drop it, the camera senses that it's being dropped, so then it automatically sort of retreats, or if for want of a better expression, it just goes back inside, it retracts. So that's it. It's right back there, as you can see. So you can use that one as well to wow your friends. And to the guys at the barbering shop in Dansuman where I cut my hair, I remember when I put on the front-facing camera, like, oh my God, it's away there, 5,000. But no, it's just 1,500. You can go grab it and wow your friends. Go for a picnic. When the family meets together and you're taking your pictures, you can do whatever you want. But anyway, moving on to some others. With these stunning things on the device, especially with the camera, you would want something that is quick, and 120 gig of storage space.
It's amazing.
Like,
it's more than enough.
And it's you can store quite a bit. You have 6 gig of memory to work with as well, so that at least guarantees you some level of speed on the device. And using the device, I have to say, it is pretty quick. The thing though is, like with every device, you need to manage that space. You can't open 1,001 apps and expect that the phone will be running optimally. You need to manage all of that space. So that is just so you are aware of the restrictions. It will tell you it has 6 gig, but you have to be able to manage the 6 gig. You can't have 2,000 CDs and expect to buy a mansion. You have to work within what you have. So, but you have 128 gig worth of storage. So please bear that in mind, that you have something pretty cool to work with. Moving on there. Now that is the battery power that I talked about. 4,000 milliampere of battery.
Wow.
That is what you have in this device. Like I said, it does take you through the day. It's taking me through the day at least. And the charging is really quick. Like,
really?
Maximum like 45 minutes. I am around 100%.
Nice.
Or probably even more. So listen, like, it charges really, really quick. You don't need to charge it for that long. You will get some pretty solid usage of that battery, especially if you are out for very long during the day. You don't typically use a lot of apps during the day, and you need something that will take you through it. This is a device for you. If you're just you love taking your pictures with that 48 megapixel camera in the back there, you're pretty much sorted. So I mean, the processor in the device is the Kirin 710E. 710F, sorry, premium performance there. Just basically, it's quick. It's just something that manages everything from the speed of the phone to the power of the device to just managing everything that's happening in the background, so you can have a smooth use of the device. So that's basically it in terms of the rundown of the device. This is the device. This is the Y9s. As you can see, this is the custom software that comes with every Huawei phone. EMUI. This is the latest version. The 9.1 is the latest version, and it is on this phone. So I mean, just go get it. People have some questions, of course, about Huawei being banned by the US, blah blah blah. I mean, this is the latest phone that was released a couple of months ago, and it has all the Google services.
It has all the apps.
It has all the Google services and everything on it. So, I mean, there, in case you were wondering if it will be supported by the Google services, this device is supported. And look, this device, if you don't have too much money to burn, this device is a very good device to have. I just need to put it into context. It is not for everybody. There are people who need something much more in terms of steady video work. They do a lot of video work on their phone. You need to invest more if you want a little more out of the device. This is not your premium device, but it is something that works within a budget, and it packs a punch as well.
And you can get cute pictures for social media, which I guess every young person wants.
Will probably want, I'm guessing so. It's a great device, but just understand that it is not a premium device, and it has its own restrictions. So you just need to be aware of that before you go get it. So that's it. Breathing Crystal. Interesting name, isn't it?
Y9s. Now, what did we miss on Citi Trends last night?
Wow, we missed 4 personalities, 4 technology entrepreneurs. So for the next couple of weeks, like I said, we'll be speaking with some technology entrepreneurs. Yesterday, we had the pleasure of having some pretty interesting people on the show.
Nice.
We had someone who was into giving authors an opportunity to publish their books.
Wow.
Reader App Limited was on the show.
Nice.
We had Lady Omega Hammond
Lady
on the show.
O.
Lady O. She is into building mobile apps for companies.
Wow.
Now, the thing I like about it is not just about building the app, but they also have support services. They have some pretty good services to back the apps. People just like the idea of having an app, but there's a strategy to it. There's so much to building an app. And they provide all those services, and these are people who are right here in Ghana. Ahrenepa was also on yesterday. Ahrenepa is basically everything Ghanaian or local, locally
Henry,
made.
right?
Henry.
Yeah.
And he's in 5 African countries at the moment, and he's trying to sort of bridge the gap with people and vendors and creators and creatives sort of collaborating across the continent. So someone is in Kenya, wants to tap into the Ghanaian fabric market. Someone is in Ghana, wants to tap into the Kenyan beads market. So those collaborations are there, and Ahrenepa is making that possible. And he started right here in Ghana as well. We also had Growth Mosaic yesterday, who are sort of helping entrepreneurs find funding.
Space, right?
And he said that 60% of the people who have come to them to seek funding are within the agri space.
But they also
basically they get into all sorts of sectors.
Nice.
So I mean, if you're a young entrepreneur, you're looking for funding, you're looking for a way to fund your business, Growth Mosaic is there. We're going to continue next week with another 4 young technology entrepreneurs.
Can you give us a hint?
Right here. No.
Okay.
Tune in and make sure you catch the episode. But it's really exciting bringing all these people out, because they're doing so much for the ecosystem, and I think that it's time people get to see, just like we're doing for the rice and the rice farmers. I think that we need to look inside our country and see just how much excellence we have here. We can tap into and to grow the tech ecosystem.
Definitely. What time can we catch Citi Trends again?
Yes, Citi Trends on Tuesday, every Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. on 97.3 Citi FM. It's directly after the show hosted by Umar Usanda Ahmed, Eyewitness News, where they talk politics. So when you're done with the politics, come to us. Let's talk tech,
technology,
and let's develop this country together.
Philip Kofi Ashon, thank you so much for being with us. And thank you guys. I hope you learned something about the Huawei Y9s. Get out there and get it. It's just 1,500 cedis, right? So if you need something that's not necessarily premium, and my director is telling me that today is Ivan's birthday and she's going to get him one. So thank you, Evelyn. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed this video.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Citi Tube,
for exclusive breakfast daily content and other Citi TV programs.
Like, comment, and share with your friends.